If you're in your 20s in the UK, then you need to watch this video. To be fair, this doesn't just apply to the UK, this does apply to people's home country in general, but I'm from the UK and that's what I have experience with, so I'm going to direct this video mostly at English people, but it does apply to anyone who's still living in their home country. I'm going to be talking about why I believe in your 20s it is the most important thing that you can do. This isn't some bullshit learn about yourself, traveling, all that kind of thing, although it is kind of along them lines. Today I'm going to go into some of the genuine benefits that I believe anyone in their 20s needs to experience, and how detrimental I think it can be to young people to just stay in their home country, never venture out, never live abroad. So before we get into it, make sure you give the video a like, subscribe to the channel as well, and hopefully you enjoy. So you guys that have been following the channel, you know that I moved from the UK over 3 years ago now and have been living out of the UK ever since. I have learned an awful lot in the process. So why is it so important, in my opinion, for young people to get out of the UK? The most important thing is, if you've just lived in the UK your whole life, your whole worldview is very limited, I think, to just what you've experienced. Everyone's worldview, right, is what they've experienced in their life, the difficulties they've had, the amazing experiences they've had, the people they've met. Everyone's worldview is changed by these things. Obviously, it can get influenced what you see online and on social media as well, but I don't think that's a good representation. Definitely not a good thing to base your worldview off, that's for sure. The best way to get your overall worldview is through your own personal experiences, for sure. And if you're someone that's just spent your whole life in the UK, maybe going to your 9-to-5 job, going to the pub on the weekends, maybe you have an all-inclusive holiday twice a year, your entire worldview is that's all it is. Yeah, it's just limited, you know what I mean? You haven't ever got to explore anything out of that little circle that is at home, which I think is not a good thing, surely. Like, surely you want to learn about the world, and it's so beneficial to go and explore and learn different things. Let's go on to a few points of why this is so important. So the first point is realizing new opportunities and possibilities. This is something which definitely came apparent to me when I left. In the UK, there's such a culture. It's a very serve the system, you know what I mean? Serve the system, do your job, pay taxes. That's the culture in the UK. In particular, it's a very, you know, serve the system. Everyone work hard, earn your money, serve the economy, pay your mortgage. That's the bubble that everyone lives in the UK. And like I said, if that's all you've experienced, then that's all you're going to know. And I think that's a big reason to why a lot of people just go down the typical route and don't ever explore out of it. They go to uni, they come out of uni, they get a mortgage, get a car, go into their 9-to-5 career, and don't really do anything out of the ordinary. Is because they're so programmed to do that, because they've never explored anywhere else in the world. They don't even know what possibilities there might be. They're just so focused because that's all that's been drilled into them, like it is back home. But moving abroad, you realize there's so many new opportunities and possibilities. I always knew that I kind of wanted to do my own thing, work for myself sort of thing, but I never really got to experience that or put it into practice being in the UK. Since moving abroad, I've got so much of a better idea of the kind of path that I want to take now. I'm obviously doing social media. This is a step forward into, you know, what I want to be doing. Would I have got to really explore that and learn that in the UK? Probably not. You know what I mean? Everyone's around me is getting jobs, getting houses, getting mortgages, and everyone falls into that trap. When you move abroad and you travel, you start seeing all these new possibilities, these new opportunities, and you realize that there's a lot more to life than just going to your 9-to-5. And you realize that if you love travel, you're very passionate about it, you can make that into a career if you wanted to. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to do what everyone else is doing back home. There's almost a pressure to do what everyone else is doing when you're in the UK, because look, everyone's near enough on the same path. Number 2 sounds obvious, but learning about other cultures. Now, I believe this is so beneficial for young people in particular to learn in their 20s, because if the only culture you've been around is the UK culture, English people, again, your whole worldview is very, very narrow. Do you know what I mean? You don't get to see much. For example, I traveled to a few places in Asia last year, and just doing a few months there, it is so eye-opening. And just from a couple of months traveling there, your worldview changes. You learn so much different things. In the UK, everyone's so focused on, you know, having the best car, having the best house, competing with each other, buying things they can't even afford just to try and fit in and maybe, you know, make them happy. But you go to Asia, there'll be a Thai family selling mangoes at the side of the road, making £5, £10 a day, and yet they are the happiest people in the world, constantly smiling, so friendly. But yet in the UK, you got people going to their 9 to 5, just head down, don't even smile. Do you know what I mean? Earning a lot more money, they'll have a way nicer car, but because they've almost been programmed into this life in the UK where serve the system and, you know, materialistic things equals happiness, that they're not being true to themselves and they're not truly happy, compared to in Asia where people don't have much at all they've got is their family. But they appreciate that so much, and it opened your eyes massively to the fact that maybe there is a lot more to life than just all the materialistic shit that everyone works towards in the UK. In Asia, like I said, there's people earning nothing. I mean, literally people earning pennies that are so much happier than most people in the UK, because people in the UK are so blinded. The next thing is trying new activities, not just going to the pub and drinking. This is a natural thing when you move abroad, of course. I think when you're in your hometown in the UK, I think you really have to push yourself to do different things. Do you know what I mean? Unless you've got a really good friendship group and family who are open to trying lots of different things, then of course it can work. But from my experience, the majority of things I did in the UK were not really that adventurous, not really out of my comfort zone, and yeah, just not really different. Most of my social kind of stuff and things I did was going to the pub, going to parties, going to events and stuff, which was obviously amazing. I don't regret doing any of that, but again, you're not trying much. When you move abroad and go traveling, amazing activities just become a part of everyday lifestyle, and you know, getting to move and try all these different activities is amazing. And you learn what your real passions, hobbies and interests are, because in the UK, again, you haven't really got to try them things because all you do is go to the pub, compared to moving abroad when you live somewhere nice, you're traveling, you're trying all these different hobbies. For example, me, I appreciate nature a lot more now. Do you know what I mean? I get a lot more enjoyment out of going somewhere beautiful in nature than just getting drunk, but I wouldn't have been able to see that back in the UK really. Number 4 is you get an outside view of the bubble that you used to live in. Like I say, the UK is such a bubble, it's a bit of a trap. Everyone's, you know what I mean, so blinded by the life that they feel like they should be having to live, and everyone's in this bubble. And when you're in that bubble as well, you can't really see, you don't have a different perspective, you're just immersed in this bubble as well. When you move from the UK, you realise that, wait, the UK is such a bubble, and you've almost broken free into this new world where there's all these different possibilities and stuff, and suddenly your horizons are expanded and you can have all these new goals and aspirations, compared to, yeah, back in the UK where you're in that bubble, and it actually takes you leaving the UK to be able to see an outside view of that bubble that you once lived in, which if you didn't get out of it, you'd never really realise that you were stuck in such a trap once when you were living there. And the last point is the memories that you're going to make, and also more importantly to me is every month, every week looking different. Not all the time when you're living abroad, because you do still have to work and stuff like that, but for example, I look at my previous 2 or 3 years before I left the UK, it all kind of blends into one. Do you know what I mean? There's not really that much different. I can kind of pick out where I worked, a few events and stuff here and there, but generally that time back home kind of blends into one. Each year kind of blends into each year. You might remember a certain holiday from one year because that's the amazing bit of that year, but in general, a massive part of that time just blends into one. Compared to when you've moved abroad, I'll just give a quick example from Australia. In Australia, I lived in Sydney. I travelled some of the East Coast. I did my farm work in Queensland. I went travelling through the outback, went to pretty much all of the states apart from 2, lived in Perth as well. And that was in a 2-year period. And I remember so much from, obviously I've made some amazing memories in that time, but every month you're doing something different. You're doing something here, you're doing something there, and you've been to so many places in such a short space of time. And the best thing about when you're traveling, I found, is you almost forget what day it is. When you're working, you're so focused on, oh, it's Monday, and then you get through the week, and then it's, oh, at least it's Friday, and then you have 2 days off, and then, oh, you're dreading Monday again, and you're so focused on what day of the week it is. when you're traveling, like, you just forget the days of the week even exist, because each day's looking different and you're in this new experience, which is amazing. And I think not wishing the days away is so nice. Do you know what I mean? Because when you work and you don't enjoy your job, you end up wishing away 5 days of the week just so you can enjoy 2 days on the weekend. When you travel and you move abroad, you're suddenly appreciating every day and you want to make the most of every day, and you're not focused on wishing away 5 days of the week, which I think is so nice. So yeah, they are some points why I believe leaving the UK, leaving your home country is so beneficial, especially for young people who are looking to grow in themselves, develop and learn about the world. Let's have a quick recap of the points. Number 1 is realizing new opportunities and possibilities, not just serving that system and being stuck in the work hard culture. Number 2, learning about other cultures. People in places like Asia who have hardly anything are often so much happier than people in the UK. Number 3, trying new things, trying new activities, learning that you actually have other interests that aren't just going to the pub. Number 4, an outside view of that bubble that you used to live in. And number 5, you're making memories, and every day you're appreciating, not wishing away 5 days of the week. So yeah, there's some points why I believe it is so beneficial, and yeah, hopefully you took some good advice from this. If you need any more help with moving abroad, I have released a full moving abroad guide, which I'll leave on the screen. Feel free to check out some of my other videos as well, because I believe they can help you with moving, particularly to Australia and New Zealand, as I have done. And yeah, if you're stuck in your hometown or in your home country, just get out, make the jump, because you will see so many benefits from doing that. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you very soon with another video.